Hey everybody, welcome back to the final episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks for the season. I'm host Mike 31. I know we put up the posting a couple days ago. We understand video views have declined. It's football season, it's fall, kids are back in school, lots of things going on. But decided to do one today just after watching some of the games last night. There's still some exciting stuff going on, so figured to do one last one to thank you. So if you didn't see the post, check it out on our channel here, and that's a good reason to subscribe to us so you know when our stuff is coming out. We are offering free baseball the rest of the season, and McKinley is doing NHL, so he's transitioning over to that. So he's got the preseason open for free for you also, even though the contest in both the top prize in a GPP is a box of cornflakes. There's still money to be made, and a lot of exciting things. So if check out the post on our YouTube channel here. If you can't find that, then just go into the description of the video, and there's a link to the FSi DFS website. You can go and use that to sign up for both for free. Also, football season's in swing. I've been doing videos for that. So we'll have a showdown one for tonight, and the Sunday one coming up for week 4, and also NASCAR is still going on. Also, this week's at Talladega, so I think I'll do the same thing because it's hard to do a speculation video for Xfinity, which has same day. There's no practice, but qualifying, and then the race is like a couple hours later. I'll just open up the channel so you can go and subscribe for that too for free this weekend for Talladega coverage. So lots of cool stuff. Just an appreciation to all you for watching this whole season. Love the interaction. It was a great time and really enjoyed it. Even though it's like a long grind, a long season, it just seemed to have flown by. But last night, some exciting action, just watching the Braves and the Cubs go to extra innings, and the Marlins and the Mets like tied, and everybody fighting for playoffs. There's still some good races going on out there. So, and I think the playoffs is just going to be absolutely amazing this year. So stay tuned for that. And like I said, you can just come into FSI and hang out in our Discord, and we'll have cores and help you with your DFS and just talk baseball for the rest of the season for free. And then it'll wrap around. Just remember, next year, we always have done spring training for free also, and have been very successful in that. So let's get to tonight's slate. Well, if there's actually 3 slates today. So if you want to play the earlier slates today, because of double headers and stuff, DK's only had a 2-game one early on. FanDuel stretched it out to a 3-game, but I think it's a pretty straightforward build. You're going to take Gray as your starting pitcher. On DK, there's an Arizona potential opener and a long reliever. I think I threw the long reliever in this for some salary relief, and I took Arizona and Minnesota. On FanDuel, you have to take a one-off if you have Gray as your starting pitcher, so I picked the cheapest shortstop I could. The afternoon slate, I don't know if that one's actually going to happen. I don't know how many games DK has on it. I know FanDuel has a 2-game, but it's supposed to be rain in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So if that happens, then that slate might get canceled. The only game that might actually be going on for that is going to be the Baltimore and the Red Sox game. But if that does play, I'm taking Weaver as my starting pitcher. I'm just going to load up on the Baltimore bats there against Chris Sale. And because if they win this game, they clinch the division. And I think they still want to fight to try to get the 100-win mark before they start resting people. And especially because if they do win the division, they're going to have a long period of rest. So they want to keep everybody kind of fresh before that little bit of a break when they're in the wild card round. And then I filled in with some of the baby Philly bats like Sosha and Marsh and just some of those younger guys that have been cracking the lineup that are just really energetic. And Sosha had a pretty good game last night. So looking at this slate, the first game we have is New York Yankees and the Toronto Blue Jays. Garrett Cole looked really good last night. I think he probably solidified himself for the Cy Young, but we'll see how the voting turns out for that. We have the remnants of Luke Weaver coming back to face Chris Bassett. Luke Weaver, he's good against right-handed batters, and that's pretty much what Toronto is, but he's been really erratic. I think I have him as a fade, but I don't understand, like, DK on a 5-game slate has like 150 max $3. Like, how do you come up with 150 lineups with a 10-game with some of these pitchers that are absolutely, that's just like the optimizers like win on that one. It's just kind of hard to hand build a lineup in that. So I just completely avoid it. I just wouldn't go any more than 20 max. So But if you want to take a shot on Weaver as a cheap SP2, I mean, there's some worse pitchers on the slate, like Chris Flexen in Coors. So I don't hate it, but I don't think it's really Toronto really needs a win. So I don't think that that's going to happen, because even though they've got, I don't think Weaver's going to do well. I said I don't think it's going to happen that Toronto can definitely win this game, but it's just such a gridlock between like Texas and Seattle and Houston for like the whole wild card thing, and they could very easily slip out of it if they go on a losing streak. But hopefully, for their sake, that they can turn things around. But there's only one loss last night against a really good Garrett Cole. So anyway, Bassett, like the Yankees bats actually came alive last night. Judge had 2 home runs. Just like, where was this during the course of the season? So I think they could definitely be in play. Also, they're definitely going to be leverage stacks. I think Bassett's going to have a lot of ownership here, and the Toronto bats against Weaver, I think, are definitely in play. Also, the Dodgers and Atlanta might both rest because they have nothing to play for. Atlanta clinched home field last night, so Toronto could just easily, by default, race to be the top stack on the slate. And like I said, I think I like the Yankees as a leverage stack, especially if like Florell, who has speed and some power, hits in like the 5th or 6th spot. Austin Wells, if he returns to the lineup, he's had a home run the last couple of games. There's some nice cheap pieces to mix in there if you're not playing Bassett. Miami and the Mets, there's a little bit of chance of rain here. Hopefully it's not a situation like the other night, but they really need to get these games in. It's important for Marlins. So I think MLB will try to help this along. But I think it'll be fine because it's only like 20% and then maybe like 40% later on. But they should be decent. The only thing that's a little concerning is it's Pitcher's Park. It's 62 degrees and the wind blowing at 10 miles per hour. So I love Luzardo here, even though he's a lefty. If Alonso hits a home run, but he gets a lot of strikeouts, and against this Mets lineup that just not much left. Lindor had a couple home runs last night, and Vientos has some power, and Mauricio has some power. Also, I think they'll be fine in these conditions. Peterson, on the other side, has really struggled against righties, and I think that Miami's definitely needs to win here to stay ahead of the Cubs for the final wild card spots. So I think they'll throw everything at it with an all-out effort, and I think that'll definitely lead to some production for DFS. So Luzardo, definitely like top pitcher on slate. Peterson, have him in the medium category, but I think he's pretty dangerous GPP. Potentially that's fine if you think the pitching conditions here outweigh the talent of the Marlins bats. But definitely like the Miami is my favorite cheap stack. They're pretty inexpensive. They're all in like the 3K range there. And then the Mets, if you want to take them as a leverage stack, then Mauricio, Alonso, Lindor, Vientos, there's a nice little 4-man stack that you can throw in a GPP there. Chicago Cubs and the Atlanta Braves. Chicago has lost 2 leads in a row here. Like they should have been comfortably up in this wild card, but now they are tied. They have lost all the tiebreakers against everybody. So you have, I think Arizona needs to win one more game, and then they've solidified a spot. But they have the White Sox stay, and if they don't win there, then they have a series against Houston. And Houston's fighting, hard between Seattle and Texas, for a wild card and divisional things there. So that's a very dangerous spot if they don't get it done today. So it could be a whole jumble, but Chicago has lost all the tiebreakers to everybody, so they have to win by at least one game. So it is do or die for them here. And the Braves, after clinching definitely the number 1 seed last night, might start resting some players. We saw like Milwaukee roll out a double-A lineup last night. So I think you'll still see like Garcia and maybe Rosario, but you'll see a lot of cheap bats potentially in this Braves which is it's good. But Chicago's going all out here. They're using Marcus Stroman as like an opener, but I think he went like 5 innings last time, so that's why he's in yellow. And then Assad's coming as a long reliever. Both of them are decent pitchers, especially if the Braves roll out a light version of their lineup. I think they're in play, but I put them in yellow because we don't know how much either one of them is going to pitch tonight. The Cubs offensively, I definitely like against AJ Smith's showover. Braves definitely got nothing to play for, and no need to push anybody. I think it's going to be like we saw with Baltimore, where they didn't really use their bullpen too much. So they started like rotating guys in just to keep them fresh. So we'll just have to see if the Braves and the Dodgers and some other teams that have clinched start to do similar things like that, because they shouldn't have to. They're not going to play in the wild card series, so they're going to have to get some work in for these guys before the 3 to 4 to 5 day break that they have before they're going to have to start the divisional series. So Cubs bats definitely a favorite GPP. Atlanta, if they roll out the full lineup, then definitely like them. If they don't, then and start the rest guys, then I think they become more of a cheap stack than anything. Dodgers and the Rockies, again, now that the Dodgers can't catch the Braves, maybe they'll start rotating guys out. So, but I still like the core lefties here. So like Muncy should play, Haywood, Outman, Peralta. I mean, there's a nice 4-man left-handed stack there. Even Rojas, you can play, I think, against Chris Flexen. He's got a little bit of reverse splits. Rojas is just more of a defensive guy than an offensive guy. But in a case like this, I think he definitely could be sneaky. Even if Barnes is in his catcher, you can throw him in there. Also, Colorado side of it, Yarbrough I actually like as a pitcher, especially if he starts and he doesn't have like an opener. But even if he does, if we guarantee that he's going to come in, I think he opens up a lot of salary as an SP2 or even like as your first player on FanDuel if you want to try to get some expensive bats in. Flexen I'm not touching even in if I'm like mass multi-entering or anything. I just see no scenario where Flexen does well tonight. Rockies, again, they're cheap, probably more of a contrarian thing. I'd stick to the righties like Tovar, Bryant, Rogers, maybe Diaz, the catcher, but not super interested there. Rangers and Seattle Mariners. This is definitely a playoff series here. Very, very important series of games coming up. So they, I believe it's a 4-game set to finish off the year. So Montgomery and Gilbert, both decent pitchers, but I think offense might win here where like they really need to score runs and it might go into extra innings, might get you extra at bats and stuff. I just think, real playoff atmosphere. So if you want to play either pitcher, I'm fine with that. But I think I'd like stick more to the bats here because Montgomery's been solid, but there's a lot of right-handed power, but there's also a lot of right-handed strikeouts on Seattle. And then the Gilbert, like he's been okay, but he showed some inconsistency, and you just have like so many power bats here for Texas. When this offense is clicking, it could be very dangerous. So definitely like both offenses there for you. So what are my builds going to be? My builds are going to be looking at teams that have something to play for. So DK, give me Luzardo as my SP1. Maybe put Bassett as my SP2. I think I can get it, but I'm going to go in cash. I'm going to go with Miami, and I'm going to go with Chicago. If in cash, if you want to throw in, if you just want to go with Miami stack, and if you want to throw in like Outward or Hayward or something like Outman or Hayward or like some of these cheap guys that are left-handed in cores, I'm fine with that too. If you want to go that way, but Cubs and Marlins is how I'm going. Same thing on FanDuel. If you play Luzardo, then you can't play a full Cub and a full Miami stack. So I might look at Bassett in that one as my SP. I think they're only like $100 difference, and that can get you the full stack. But if there's a one-off that you like and it works for you, then that's perfectly fine too. For GPP, Yarbrough is my SP2. I'll let you figure out if you want to pay up or not, but give me a full Seattle, Texas stack. I think that if this game goes extra innings, there's going to be runs scored. They're going to throw everything at them. I know they're going to mix and match bullpens and stuff, but I think that there's a lot of opportunity for these offenses to do well, especially early. If they go out there and these starting pitchers and you get into the bullpens and they're mixing and matching, but you already have accumulated enough runs to be successful. So Garver Rowley at catcher, first or second base, whatever guys from the team, even like France is pretty cheap, or if you can get up to low, that's fine. Second base, like even some of the guys at the bottom of Seattle lineup make this work. Suarez, Seager, Garcia, and Julio Rodriguez is the ones that I really want to use as core. FanDuel, same thing. Yarbrough, Semien, Suarez, Seager, Julio Rodriguez, and then decide if you want Timo Hernandez or Garcia as your other outfielder there. So that's what I got for you. If you have any questions, you put them in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRower31 on Twitter or X, whatever you call it nowadays. As I said earlier in the video, if you want more information on FSi DFS, sign up for free baseball, free preseason, NHL, and like I said, I'm going to open up NASCAR sometime next day or so you can get in for the Talladega course. That's fine. We have football going, also soccer, some good deals on that. Lots of success in that room too. So lots of fun things going on. Appreciate you watching throughout the season. Thanks for your support, and watching it has helped so much. If you want to help us a little bit more, give us one final like here. Subscribe to our channel so we know what our videos are going to come out for next season, for the other things, cool things that we're doing here, and share with your friends. So thanks again for watching. Hope you had a great season. Really appreciate the viewership. Look for our videos that we'll be doing for NHL, our NFL. McKinley might do some for NHL coming up. We might experiment with NBA. We'll continue to have NASCAR and some other stuff too. So you never know what we're going to have. So that's why I subscribe to the channel, so you know what's coming out. So thanks again for watching. Have a good off season, and we will see you next spring.